Alright, Shalom Akim, I like to Sakal Halayim, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash, double honors the apostles, and elders of great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that pushes through to the four corners of the earth. Right, this is Yarabab from the JMS Trinidad East Camp. And I'll go through a few precepts. I'll entitle it, what's the title I put for this? It's a be an example of what you preach, right? Already and truly, it's not just about going out and teaching the people, but it's also about following what it is you learn, right? To be in that light. And men, men of the truth know these things. Because when it is you going out and actually teaching people the do's and the don'ts, and you yourself not following it, then you'll be classed as what? A hypocrite. I'll start with the scripture, right? It said in 1 Corinthians 4 verse 9, it say, "For I think that the Most High had sent forth us, the apostles last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men." You understand? So we being viewed constantly, not just from men, but from what? Angels. You understand? The same angels that bearing witness to the things that you teach others they shouldn't do, is the same angels that bearing witness to all the things that you are doing that you're not supposed to be doing, especially if you know you're not supposed to be doing it. You understand? Now I want to get a definition. Definition of a hypocrite, right? It's a person who claims or presents to have a certain belief about what is right, but who behaves in a way that disagrees with those beliefs. You understand? That's what a hypocrite is. Somebody who doesn't practice what they preach. It's like I say, you can't be going out and telling men that you're supposed to be doing this, you gotta get yourself right, you gotta be doing all these different things, and then when you in your free time you're not doing all these things that you're teaching others you're supposed to do. I remember telling our brother at some point, I was telling him that a lot of the videos that I just make, it has been things that I myself just had to work on. You understand? So I had to be the first person to learn from that video before anybody else watch it. I have to watch it. I have to overview it and learn from it also. You understand? Because we know that it's the spirit that is talked through the Lord's men. You understand? But I myself have to learn from these same things, because I can't be teaching others that they shouldn't do this and that, and then I myself doing it. You understand? Even though you might make some errors sometimes, these are things that you're supposed to fix and work on, right? I'll go through some more definitions. You say a person who puts on a false appearance of virtue or religion. You understand? Somebody who has tried to act holy and they're not, or they're not even trying to be holy. A person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings, right? That also classed as what? A liar. Because you're saying that one thing is wrong and this is right, and you're doing the opposite, right? Let me go next scripture. I'll go to Matthew, right? 7, I'll start from 1, right? It say, "Judge not, that ye be not judged. It say, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged." So when you're telling men that this is wrong, and you're reproving the people on the streets, or you're reproving other brothers, and you're not practicing what it is you actually telling them that wrong, you will also have to account for that, because you're supposed to know better. If you could tell somebody else not to do it, that means you know what you're not supposed to do. Say for what? It say, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Right? It say, and why behold thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in thine own eye. You understand? Because sometimes men will be reproving others, and what they could be doing will be actually worse than the people they're reproving. You understand? That hypocrisy have its penalties. So you had to be practicing working on yourself, especially if you want to reprove other people, right? You say, how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? You say, thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. See, scriptures tell you what? Sort your own shit out first. You understand? Don't be quick to reprove others and you're not reproving yourself. Scriptures say what? Examine yourself, that ye be in the faith. And there's something you always have to be mindful of, because you will be accountable for these things. Right? It says Romans 2, I'll start from 17, right? It says, behold, thou art called a Jew, right? And rested in the law, and make it thy boast of the law. And we do make our boast of the law, on the streets and off the streets. As a man of the law, you make your boast of the law, right? Even though we know they know it's not about completing the law 100%, because it's not something that you could do, but you do it to the best of your ability, right? You make the boast of the law. It say, and knowest his will. Thanks. And knowest his will, right? We know the will of the Most High. We know the do's and the don'ts. And approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. And that how is receive our instruction. Scripture said that in Timothy, it said for reproof, for instruction in righteousness. Just paraphrasing, right? It say, and art confident that thou thyself art a guide to the blind. Because when we go out there, either we go out there physically, we do it through videos, correcting people wherever they see them erring. You are a guide of the blind, because these people are in what scripture said, gross darkness. We are a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness. And we're not just a light unto them in terms of what we speak, but we're also a light unto them in terms of what we do. You understand? When they see us, they're supposed to see examples of how it's supposed to be as a man of the Lord, as a person of Israel, right? Not only in words, but also in actions. Now, you have people who will have their personal views about, a man of the Lord shouldn't do this and a man of the Lord shouldn't do that. They are not the ones you're focusing on. You're focusing on how the scriptures say it's supposed to be, and you had to be that prime example. You understand? If they don't understand it and they say, yeah, you're fine, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that because they find you shouldn't. No, it's about actually fulfilling the things how the Most High say to do it. If they don't believe, that's their business. Right, verse 20. It says, an instructor, Salakia, of the foolish, a teacher of babes, right, which has the form of knowledge and the truth of the law. All these things explain how we are. It say, thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? You understand? You can't be teaching others how to save money and you never have none. And it's not like if you don't make money, you just never have none because you don't know how to save. You're teaching others how to save. That make no sense. The person who's supposed to benefit the most from your words is yourself. Scripture say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You're supposed to be the first person to learn from the things that you know. Right? It said, thou that preachest, a man should not steal. Does thou steal? Thou that sayest, a man should not commit adultery. Does thou commit adultery? It said, thou that abhorrest idols, does thou commit sacrilege? And I just some examples those given you, showing you what? You had to be an example of the things that you speak. and it have angels bearing witness to these things. So if you're not doing these things and you're teaching others to do these things, or they shouldn't, or you're reproving others for not doing it, you have a penalty to pay for these things. The first person to learn from the things you speak are supposed to be yourself. Right? I'll go to one more scripture. It says Matthew 23, right? It say, Then spake Mashiach to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Right? It say, All therefore whatsoever they bid you, observe. That observe and do. But do not ye after their works, because they say and do not. Because that was a trait of the Pharisees. They used to tell people that you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, and they wasn't even doing these things. You understand? They wasn't doing these things. They would do it probably in front of the people, to make themselves look a particular way. But when there was in their own time, they wasn't doing these things. And as brothers, you should not be like the Pharisees. For example, when you see, like how brothers might go out and preach on a Saturday, they might go out and preach on a Sunday. You can't just want to, talk about, thing and this and that and how you're supposed to be. And then from Monday to Friday, you're not doing or practicing none of these things that you're actually telling people to do on the weekends. Or when you're doing your videos, you're saying, no, yeah, it's good and that good to do, and you're not practicing it. That is traits of the Pharisees. You understand? It say verse 4, it say, For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders. Telling them that you need to do this and you need to do that. And they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. They're not doing what they're telling others that they should do. It say, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. Which is like I say, when you go around people, just to try to have some look of holiness. Like how the Pope and them in the free time, when they in the public's eye, they dress up nice and they're trying to have this kind of holy look, like they're so saintish, and when they're behind closed doors, they interfere with little boys and doing all these wicked things. You understand? They don't practice what they preach. But as men of the Lord, that is not how we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to just tell men that these things are wrong, but we're supposed to do what we're supposed to not do what we tell men are wrong. Right? They say, but all their works they do to be seen of men. They say they make broad their philanthropies and enlarge the borders of their garments, right? and love the uppermost rooms of feasts. They love the uppermost rooms of feasts. When feast time come, everybody, yeah. And the chief seats in the synagogues. So they like that exalted, holy look in front of people. But inwardly, that wasn't right. And when there wasn't around people, that wasn't right. I'll stop there. And that's, there's some scriptures just showing you that how you gotta live the word. You gotta live the word, especially if you're teaching the word. You're showing men the errors and correcting them. You gotta make sure and correct yourself. If you're not correcting yourself and you're correcting men, that have penalties involved. You understand? That have serious penalties involved. I hope it's edifying to anybody that listen. With that, I'd like to say Kal Halayam, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, double honors the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that pushes truth to the four corners of the earth. There's your Rabba from the GMS Trinidad East Camp saying Shalom, Akim, stay strong.